Greetings. My name is Faiza Jahanshiri, and this presentation is a demo of my data analytics project on the subject of adults with serious mental illness who receive treatment. What I'm going to talk about and present in this presentation are the steps that I have taken to complete this project. I'm going to talk about what mental illness is and my reasons and motivations for choosing this subject for my semester project. A little about the data set that I downloaded from the World Health Indicators. The data analytics software programs I use, and the other steps like exploratory data analysis, and then in-depth data analysis. And then at the end, I would like to share some insight and implications and key takeaways notes with you, and then the references. So what is mental illness, and what are the reasons and my reasons and motivations for wanting to talk about mental illness? The following statistics are actually my reasons and motivations for choosing this subject. Mental illness is considered an invisible disease affecting more than 450 million people worldwide. Over 61 million adults and over 7 million children in the United States live with a mental disorder at some point in their lives. Although some people are at higher risk, anyone can develop mental illness, and most everyone, including myself, had a friend or coworker or a loved one with a mental illness. 1 in 4 U.S. adults experiences mental illness in a given year, and 1 in 17, about 13.6 million, currently live with a serious mental illness such as schizophrenia or suffers from a diagnosable mental illness such as depression, bipolar disorder, or post-traumatic disorder. Patients diagnosed with a serious mental disorder, like somebody I knew, die 25 years earlier than general population. And get this, 70% of youth in juvenile justice system have at least one mental health condition, and at least 20% live with a severe mental illness. 1/2 of all chronic mental illness begins by the age of 14, 3/4 by the age of 24. And despite effective treatment, there are long delays. It means that sometimes it takes decades between the first appearance of symptoms and when people get help. Approximately 60% of adults and almost 1/2 of youth ages 8 to 15 with a mental illness received no mental health service in last year. And suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, more common than homicide. I didn't know that. And the 3rd leading cause of death for ages 15 to 24 years. More than 90% of those who die by suicide had one or more mental disorder. Although military members comprise less than 1% of the U.S. population, veterans represent 20% of suicide nationally. So each day, about 22 veterans die from suicide. Despite these alarming facts, I was very disappointed by the insufficient statistical research and the data availability on this important subject. So my data analytics project is based on the data provided by the World Health Indicators, and these indicators show the percentage of adults age 18 and older with serious mental illness who received treatment. The percentage who received treatment is the numerator, and the percentage with the mental illness in general is the denominator. So the exploratory data analysis I conducted was through use of machine data analytics software to better understand the data and to identify any potential new patterns in each data set. I was able to download 2 spreadsheets, which I turned to CSV files, and a couple of statistical tables and data. So the initial software I used was Splunk Enterprise. The 2 files that I mentioned that were uploaded into Splunk successfully, and Splunk was able to index them and parse them into events, showing all the indicators separated by comma fields, which was very impressive. Splunk retrieved the events that matched my specific search terms, and the logic applied to these data sets by Splunk was very clear and straightforward, and which is presented in the next few slides. As I am moving forward, I'm going to show you the screenshots I got from these parsed events. And if you can look closely here, these are the percentage. This search term is by family income. So this is poverty and income, family income per household based on 0% poverty from 2008 and all the way to 2012. And then the next one also showing the results, the same results basically, but in 2011 and up. And what I'd like to share with you from my exploratory data analysis are the facts that between 2008 and 2011, the population living with highest percentage below poverty line received the lowest percentage of treatment for mental disorders. Only 10% of 70% diagnosed with serious mental illness received treatment. I can go back, but it's too small, probably you can't see, but here's the highest percentage, and which was 10%. So the threshold, the highest poverty level, has the lowest. So this is pretty self-explanatory. And then I'm continued with putting the search term about health insurance status. And as you can see here also, there are categories of people with no health insurance, any health insurance, and then private insurance. So this screenshot here is showing you percentage of adults with serious mental illness with no health insurance, and of the 2008, the 50% only received 30% treatment. And then the next slide here is showing people with no health insurance, and that with the same results. And people who have public health insurance, the numbers improve a bit here. This one doesn't have any numbers, but in the other screenshot I'll show you. But private health insurance have the higher, 80% receive treatment. But overall, having any kind of health insurance showing higher percentage of population who received treatment. So continuing with my exploration of this data analysis, I also discovered the fact that between 2008 and 2011, population with no health insurance was received the lowest percentage of treatment, about 30% overall, and population with private health insurance was received the highest percentage of treatment, which was 80%. And then overall, people who had in some kind of health insurance received higher percentage. So talking about all this, we're going to move forward to the next slide, which is also a continuation of proving these numbers really speak for themselves. That I put different search terms here in different years, and then this highlighted area here shows again that having some kind of health insurance improved the percentage for people who receive treatment. This one again is in 2008, and people with health insurance, higher percentage. I was not able to visualize this data with Splunk because it said that Splunk is unable to visualize this data due to insufficient events. So I tried Excel charts and was able to visualize some of the data, which actually proved the same points here. I was able to only demonstrate this one with the renaming axis and being able properly to show, because I'm not familiar with pivot tables, and even with Splunk there was a way to display to visualize data with pivot tables, but unfortunately I have no knowledge of it. Perhaps it should have been a prerequisite for me to take visualization course before this one, but no worries, I will master that next semester. So anyway, according to this chart right here, you'll see that people with no health insurance in the highest poverty level, which is this one, 400 to 599%, received lower percentage of treatment. Moving forward, when I started doing in-depth analysis, I downloaded Tableau and I tried to visualize my data. Tableau wasn't working for me either. I kept getting the error messages that there's something wrong with your data set, and the Tableau could not read it. I could not fix the problem. I didn't know what was the problem with my data set, and so the CS files that I had didn't work in Tableau, but I did find Tableau world indicators very helpful, and I will talk about it in this demo. So next I came across those 3 websites with free software tools to search several health-related indicators: the countyhealthranking.org, VizHop, healthdata.org, and the Institute for Health and Metrics. These were great sites. Moving on to the next slide, I can show you, for example, in this one, the county health indicator, you can click on any state, and then you get to choose your several health indicators, such as poverty, mental illness, obesity, or any other indicator, and it will display the data for you. They use Tableau, which puts the maps and charts side by side. It's easier to compare. So as you can see here, I clicked on California, and the map here on the left side shows the population with higher mental illness, which is the darker brown in these areas in California. And that was very interesting for me to discover all that. So to visualize comparison of doing this for me, was I found out that adults with serious mental illness live in the poorer areas, and where the mental health care is less available. Look, check here for yourself. This is what I was able to do on their interactive live Tableau page on the website. I chose serious mental illness, and again, state of California, and then poverty rate in the same state and counties, and then the available psychiatrics per 100,000 people, availability of mental health. And it just is very ironic. Whereas in the counties where there is more, there are more people with mental illness, also they're the lowest level of income. And then here, these areas where there is more need for treatment, there are less mental health care available, as you can see. So this is very interesting. It was very intriguing for me to find all these, although I wasn't able to put my data set, but I found a whole bunch of really interesting facts. I was so fascinated by my findings of exploring these helpful data visualizations, so that I felt so inclined about sharing them with you. And here they are. We'll move to the next slide. One of these websites was the WizHub. You can choose again from several health indicators worldwide, and it will display the map for you and the charts also here. As you can see, like I chose to see the obesity rate in the world, and these red areas are have the highest rate of obesity. And then just for the fun of it, I decided, so now that I see that the United States is in that high obesity section, I decided to look for like poverty rate in the same website, and then I found out that these areas with the orange and yellow and going toward red are have the highest level of poverty, as you can see. But what struck me next was that when I went back to Tableau and used their health indicators worldwide, here's the United States with the highest GDP on healthcare. They spend more on healthcare, but then the areas where obesity is a problem is also those areas with highest poverty level. That is very, very thought-provoking to me. Again, these are the areas with highest or lowest family income level, and then you move to this one with the obesity map, and you'll see that again that the highest concentration of obese people live in the same areas where incomes are lower. So as I reach the end of this demo, I would like to add that despite lack of availability of sufficient raw data and up-to-date, reliable statistics on mental illnesses, I can clearly conclude that despite lack of that utilizing data analytics software programs enabled me to discover patterns and correlations between certain indicators like income and health insurance status that I chose, and the percentage of treatment for mental illness received by adults. They all matched my general research results. Findings consistently indicated that low levels of household income are associated with mental illness, and that the availability of mental health care plays a significant role in the prevention of mental disorders in general. I have a few takeaway notes here, and I want to reiterate the fact that mental illness remains perhaps one of the most neglected of diseases, and access to mental health care remains a huge implication and a barrier to treat the mental illness. And in addition, I found several overarching conclusions from this data analytic project. The most important one was low levels of household income are definitely associated with several lifetime mental disorders. And then, considering the scope of mental illness, I was dismayed by the fact that this affects tens of millions of people each year, but only half of those affected receive treatment. So in hope of learning more advanced data analytics to be able to help people who need help with mental disorders, and I'm hoping that I can learn more visualization skills so I can continue my research about this subject and its costly burden on our nation. Then at the end, I would like to thank you so much for your attention. Bye.